So this is the Etobicoke Creek alongside, basically in between Clarence and Clarence and Queen Street, and you can see it's been absolutely devastated. Just so many trees have been cleared out. You can see this guy coming right now with a whole bunch of underbrush, and it's clearly small sticks and things that could easily just be left to rot on the ground, which provides homes for insects, birds, small mammals, all sorts of things like that. And this guy is coming over here to basically throw it in the dump truck, which is idling over there. This is absolutely just terrible planning and behavior to do this to one of the few patches of ravine land that we have left that's sort of intact in some way. You can see this guy's looking. Just absolutely nonsense behavior. There used to be trees, sort of a lot of maples and stuff hanging over here, and basically they've just been cut. You can see there, big stumps. And the thing, these guys have been going in and out of here with their trucks and their machines, and you can see basically all the underbrush is just completely flattened, and completely, like, all the little shoots and seedlings of trees that have been in here are just ran right over, and there's no regard for that whatsoever. That means that basically this area will have to either be replanted, or pretty much it's gonna cause major problems in the summer as well, because basically now invasive species are going to proliferate more than they have already because of all the sun exposure and the sun getting to the ground instead of hitting the forest canopy. And so their whole idea with this, basically, from what I've been told, because I did speak to some of the workers before, was that they were supposed to be clearing out underbrush out of the creek, or broken branches out of the creek, because it would apparently pose a flooding hazard to basically the creek if it jams up and the water can't flow by. I personally think that's baloney. Basically, if you look at the erosion going along the banks, there's already enough of that. If anything, trees being in the water would just help slow the water down and protect the banks of the creek from an already overburdened load that this creek has to bear with all the storm water runoff coming into it. And a lot of these trees are all falling into the creek actually naturally on their own, and that's because of how much erosion is taking place. And each year the bank just gets more eroded, and the creek gets wider, and you can see lots of roots are exposed back there and stuff. So this was basically a closed area back before they came in here. You couldn't really see anything almost. Now you can see well beyond the scope of this area. You can see the neighbors' houses, just all sorts of space in here and how open it is. Just so much stuff has been cleared out, and they basically leave absolutely nothing. Like, you know, it's one thing to cut the trees down and basically leave them where they are, but this is supposed to be a creek ravine area. There's no designated trail in here. There's no one who's technically walking in here it's gonna pose a hazard to them. And pretty much, yeah, it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just so awful to see this. I've been coming here for a long time, and it's just, yeah, it's quite terrible to see. It's pretty hard to see actually. They've left a couple small trees in here, but just like, if anyone from Brampton knows this area, it's right basically across the street from Cardinal AJ School, and yeah, you'll know that it's quite different in here than it was. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna take a video of what they're doing over there. You might be able to see them, and show you what's actually going on. and I'll be back in a second. This guy's picking up sticks, small tiny sticks, and throwing them on his little tractor trailer, if you guys saw that, to take them to the dump or the mulching center. It's just ridiculous. Like, I know this guy's just doing his job, and you know, he's trying to make a buck, but how sad is it? This is what your money is going to, basically taking little sticks an inch in diameter and throwing them in a dumpster to be mulched. That's just absolutely ridiculous. That is nonsense. We have to really prioritize our time here on this earth. I feel like walking up to the machine and grabbing the sticks out and throwing them back on the ground, that's not gonna really solve anything. This is just mind-blowing. This guy just grabbed a nice big log. That could be great habitat. Oh, he put it down. Don't know if you guys can hear me. That's habitat right there for insects, nesting bees that make small holes in wood, moths, small mammals, mice, voles. I'm just gonna grab it, and apparently that's a hazard to your health, people. That is gonna be gone to be thrown into a big mulch pile. This is such a great use of our money. Can't grab it. That's great, because that's where it belongs. It doesn't want to go. When you look at this type of behavior as humans in the grand scheme of things, we just really have our priorities so terribly out of order. When you think of that, there's something like 11,000 people or more living below the poverty line, or probably more than that, in Peel region alone, and all sorts of statistics like that, and we're worried about clearing logs out of a forested area. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You can see there's a track where they've come down and basically removed some trees from the creek again. And that guy's off to the big dumpster with the mulching bin. Little pile of brush, just sticks and things, small sticks, couple inches in diameter. Picking them up, getting them ready to be mulched in the ravine land. All that habitat for pollinators, bees, butterflies, moths that nest in the wood. It's all just going to mulch. That guy over there is grabbing sticks, tiny sticks, and throwing them onto his little front end loader thing. Now he's gonna drive and pick up the pile. It's hard to see, kind of. Don't know if you can see it. So the guy's got his machine stopped. He's got, like, you can tell he's, you know, feeling pressure about what they're doing. And if anything, that's a good thing. I'm not trying to make them feel bad. But when I point the camera, they basically stop moving. Guy's going again. Collecting all those nice little sticks, nice habitat, nice soil, nice future soil. It's just ridiculous. It's just not good. He's gonna stop. This is something we all just need to figure out as a society as a whole in Brampton, as the people who live near this creek and as the people who don't live near this creek, because what happens here mirrors everything everywhere else, and it's just all connected. The destruction to this creek equals poor more poor water quality for Lake Ontario as erosion and sediment is being carried down this creek. Habitat loss, all that stuff. Lack of pollinators habitat, lack of small mammals habitat. It's just really not good at all. A final note, just so you guys can see, this was all normal, pretty heavily wooded creek ravine land, as many other areas are in the city of Brampton, and now it's just completely wide open, like tiny, maybe 20-foot patch of intact trees left on the right hand side of the creek, depending on which way you're coming from. And they left some of the trees closer to the bank, and not all of this was completely treed. Some of it was just tall grass and stuff like that, but yeah, just quite ridiculous what we occupy ourselves with on a day-to-day basis when there's so much bigger issues going on in the world, and this is how we're choosing to spend our time. Not good. Hopefully you guys can see, as always, these operations are never clean cut, and they're always very sloppy with lots of oil and fossil fuels involved. And you can see, due to the need to apparently clean up this ravine land, which I could understand, some of the park trees, that could be a hazard. There's the park, there's Cardinal AJ School. Alright, there's kids down here hanging in the field, the branch comes down, that's not good. That's not good at all. But to be cleaning up the ravine land, and basically there were other spots where there was lots of this stuff, is basically lots of nice oil slicks and patches of spilt gasoline and stuff. And you can see there's the trail of oil and gas, and it's basically just going into this little nook into the basically melt pathway, I guess you could call it, and that's just going to end up right in there at the creek at some point. And that basically 1 liter of gasoline contaminates 1 million liters of fresh water, and that's a fact stated by my environmental science professor. That's not an exaggeration or anything. That's how damaging this stuff is, and the toll we're having is. There you can clearly see all the gas just going in there. And yeah, so that's just making its way under the snowbank and then eventually to the creek, or at least into the soil if it's not absorbed first, although it's frozen right now, so it probably will find its way there eventually. And here comes the guy again with another nice brush load of all that good biomass. Biomass is key to having healthy ecosystems, and it's just gonna go right in the dumpster. I just want to get this on film. There we go. Mulch, free mulch. Alright, that's good enough. That proves my point. And there's just a nice gas trail again. And there we go. Alright. This video should be up soon, and if you guys are watching it, then of course it's already up. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Leave comments, ideas, suggestions that we can do to stop this behavior, because I assume that they're basically just going to be continuing this all the way up along the creek, as they've done from basically Clarence, and now it's basically at Queen Street. And yeah, we'll have to do something about this and just let the city know that we, the residents, do not want this to happen. It's a waste of our time and money, and it just shouldn't be happening. So hopefully we can do something about this. And yeah, leave comments and suggestions, and I'll leave contact info for me below or in the video, and you guys can hopefully we can work together on this and reprioritize our time and our tax dollars. Thanks, guys.